Okay, so you want to be like right there in the thick of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like in a bustling city, maybe a place you've always wanted to go, and
Mm.
news is breaking all around you.
Yeah.
But you're not just watching it on TV. You're right there on the ground floor, notebook in hand, just ready to tell the world what's happening.
Wow.
It's exhilarating, right?
Definitely.
That's the life of a foreign correspondent.
Oh.
And today, we're going deep on how to make that dream a reality.
And it's more than just adventure, right? It's about really understanding global events, the culture you're in, and then trying to tell those stories in a way that really connects with people.
Absolutely. We've got a stack of materials here about how to become a foreign correspondent, including this really detailed career guide.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I'm already hooked. So let's start with the basics. What does a foreign correspondent actually do?
They're storytellers on a global scale.
Okay.
So you're researching, writing, reporting on these events that have international significance.
Okay, so it's more than just your average news desk job then.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, you could be covering elections, natural disasters, even cultural festivals.
Wow. So the variety is really incredible.
It's that.
One day you might be interviewing someone you know in a conflict zone and really using those active listening skills to try to uncover a story with global impact.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks to the kind of impact you can have in this role, right? You're not just recording the news. You're shaping public opinion, raising awareness, even influencing how cultures see each other.
That's a huge responsibility.
Absolutely.
But it also sounds incredibly rewarding.
Oh, for sure.
The career guide also mentions a reality check, though.
Yeah.
A little dose of realism there.
It's not all, glamorous, globe-trotting adventures.
Right, of course.
Long hours, fierce competition. Sometimes you're in dangerous places.
Yeah.
It takes a certain type of person to really thrive in that environment.
Absolutely. Someone who can handle pressure, who can adapt to new situations.
And find a wifey signal no matter what.
Especially that.
Right.
Because how are you going to file that story?
Exactly.
So it really is a lifestyle more than just a job then.
I think so. Yeah, you're constantly immersing yourself in these different cultures, navigating unfamiliar places.
Yeah, it goes back to that desire for new experiences.
Yeah.
Right? This career path is all about embracing the unknown. And speaking of embracing the unknown, let's talk about the actual skills you need to excel as a foreign correspondent.
Okay.
So, obviously writing is key.
Of course.
But I'm really intrigued by some of the other skills this career guide highlights.
Like what?
Well, it places a lot of emphasis on listening, being a good listener.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. To really gain the trust of your sources,
Yeah.
to get those hidden truths, you have to really listen intently.
That makes sense.
You have to be able to observe people's body language.
Right.
And understand what's not being said as much as what is being said.
It's about building rapport, and that can be in any language, right?
Exactly.
You can't tell someone's story without truly hearing it first.
I completely agree with that.
And building those connections in a foreign country, navigating those cultural differences, that requires a lot of social intelligence.
Oh, absolutely. The guide calls it social perceptiveness.
Okay.
And I love that because it really is about being able to read people, pick up on those subtle cues, and adjust your communication accordingly.
So we've talked about listening, observing, adapting, almost like being a cultural chameleon, right?
Yeah.
But how do those skills translate into a successful career?
Right.
You mentioned a career guide earlier. Does it offer any insights into the career trajectory of a foreign correspondent?
It does, and it goes beyond just like, here's the job description, here are the bullet points.
Okay.
It actually gives examples of real people at different stages.
Oh,
So like one that they highlight is a reporter, and this person, they really put in the work early on. They got their bachelor's in journalism, then a master's in international relations.
wow, talk about dedication.
I know, right?
So what are they doing on like a day-to-day basis? Are they thrown right into the thick of it?
Well, the guide says they're responsible for, researching these internationally important stories, conducting interviews, writing those really gripping news articles.
Yeah.
But here's what I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
They've really honed in on a specific region.
Oh.
It's like they've become fluent, not just in the language, but like in the political and social and economic landscape of that part of the world.
So it's about becoming a specialist,
Exactly.
an expert in that one little corner of the world.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
But you can be an indispensable source of knowledge on a particular region.
Absolutely. And that expertise allows you to connect the dots for people.
Bruh.
You can make sense of those complex events.
It gives you that context.
Yeah, okay. So you've proven yourself as a reporter. You've built a really strong foundation. What's next?
What's next?
What does the career guide say about climbing the ranks from there?
Okay, so the next stage up is senior correspondent.
Okay.
And now you're really starting to take the reins a little bit more.
Okay.
The example they give is someone who's leading news coverage for their region. They're investigating these really complex international issues, and they're even mentoring junior journalists.
Wow, so you're not just reporting the news anymore, you're shaping it.
And guiding the next generation.
Yeah, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is, and the guide even mentions that at this level, you're building relationships with higher profile sources, maybe even government officials.
Okay.
You're representing your organization at international events. You're really becoming a known and trusted voice.
That's got to be so rewarding to see your career evolve alongside your influence like that.
Yeah.
You're not just witnessing history anymore, you're part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
It's that experience, the expertise, the network that really seems to define that senior correspondent level.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, so for the final act of our little behind-the-scenes peek at this career guide, let's talk about the big one.
Okay.
Chief Foreign Correspondent.
Top of the mountain.
This is it. This is the top. What does it take to get there?
It does feel like a culmination of everything we've talked about so far, right? So this example they give is responsible for managing a whole team of correspondents now,
Wow.
setting the editorial direction for the organization's entire international news coverage.
So they're shaping the stories that reach a global audience.
Exactly.
Wow.
They're influencing how people understand entire regions of the world.
And it's not just about managing a team, right?
Right.
The guide also mentioned conducting high-level interviews, maybe even with world leaders, writing these really thought-provoking opinion pieces.
It's not just reporting the facts anymore.
Yeah, they're providing that analysis, that context, maybe even challenging how we think about these events.
Totally.
It sounds like they've really become a thought leader in the space.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
This career guide is really a goldmine. It's one thing to dream about being a foreign correspondent, but it's so insightful to see the path laid out like this.
I agree.
But let's be honest, in today's world, you can't talk about any career path without talking about technology.
Oh, totally. It's like trying to report on a conflict without internet access. Good luck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic. What do the RoleCatcher materials have to say about this?
Yeah.
It's like trying to navigate a foreign city without using Google Maps.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Speaking of which, this RoleCatcher platform sounds like it could be a pretty useful tool for any aspiring foreign correspondent.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
So it's interesting because it's not just about understanding the job itself. It's about giving you an edge.
Okay.
You know, in a world where, like we were saying, technology is everything.
Right.
So think of it as like a digital toolkit
Yeah.
for navigating this very modern job market. And it's specifically designed for aspiring foreign correspondents.
So less like a vintage compass, more like a high-tech GPS for your career.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, what kind of tools are we talking about here?
So they have this AI-powered CV and resume builder,
Okay.
which is huge because we all know you got to tailor that resume for every job you apply for.
Oh, yeah?
But who has time to rewrite their entire work history for every single application?
It's so tedious.
It is the worst.
You end up spending more time on the resume than actually applying for the job.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher comes in.
Okay.
It takes your experience and it translates it
Okay.
to the specific job that you want.
Wow.
It analyzes those job descriptions and it's like, okay, here are the skills that you're maybe missing.
Oh, interesting.
Or here are the skills that you need to highlight more prominently.
So it's like having a personal brand manager for your resume.
Kind of. Yeah, and make sure you're putting your best foot forward.
I like it.
And get this, it scores your resume against the job description.
No way.
Yeah.
So you can see how those applicant tracking systems are going to view your resume.
It's like getting a sneak peek.
That's amazing.
Right.
Wow. So it's really about leveling the playing field then.
It is.
Because those applicant tracking systems can be a nightmare.
Tell me this is about getting your resume seen by an actual person.
Okay, so let's say you use RoleCatcher, you craft the perfect resume, you land the interview,
Okay.
which, let's be honest, that's the most nerve-wracking part.
Yeah, for sure.
Does RoleCatcher offer any help with that?
So get ready for this. They have a database of over 120,000 practice interview questions,
What?
all categorized by career and skill set.
Oh, wow.
So you can practice answering questions that are specifically designed for foreign correspondent roles.
That's incredible. They really weren't kidding with that whole ace your interviews thing.
Nope. And it's not just about memorizing answers or anything like that.
Okay.
They give you guidance on how to structure your responses, how to highlight your experience, even stuff like body language and tone of
It's like
voice.
having a personal interview coach right in your pocket.
Right.
I am sold.
Right.
But I have a feeling that there's more to this whole journey than just getting the job.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, remember when we talked earlier about the impact this role can have?
Yeah.
The career guide touches on this in such a beautiful way when it talks about the bigger picture.
Let's talk about that, because it's not just about, the byline or the adventure. Is it
No.
what's really driving you to want to become a foreign correspondent?
It's about purpose. It's
Right.
about that desire that you were talking about,
Yeah.
that pull to experience different cultures and really understand the world
Right.
and share that with other people.
It's about becoming a citizen of the world.
Yes.
It's about breaking down those barriers and finding those common threads that connect us.
Exactly. And I think that's where you can start to make a difference,
Yeah.
through understanding, through human experience.
The guide also talks about the responsibility that comes with this role, right?
For sure.
Especially in a world with so much misinformation.
Oh, absolutely. Foreign correspondents, they have a duty to report the truth,
Yeah.
to shine a light on those underreported stories.
Give a voice to the voiceless.
Exactly.
But they have to do that while also navigating all these different cultures and ethical considerations and sometimes even dangerous situations.
It's a balancing act.
It really is. But in the right hands with the right intentions, that power of storytelling can be a force for good.
100%. It can create empathy, it can challenge our assumptions,
Yeah.
and hopefully it can just contribute to people understanding each other a little bit better.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone from crafting the perfect resume to the profound impact a foreign correspondent can have on the world.
I know, right?
We've covered the challenges, the rewards, the skills, the strategies, and even how AI can give us a little bit of an edge up.
And through it all, we've seen that it's more than just a job, it's a calling.
It really is.
It requires passion and dedication and just this unquenchable thirst for knowledge and a deep respect for the world and its people.
So well said. For anyone listening who feels that pull, that desire to connect with the world and share its stories, what would you say to them?
Hold on to that curiosity,
Yeah.
Nurture it. Don't be afraid to really dive in head first.
Love it.
The world needs your stories.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll leave you with this. What unique perspective do you bring to the table? What stories are you just burning to tell? Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.